Hey YouTube, how is it going today? In this video, I want to talk about a company called GTEC Holdings, ticker symbol GGTTF, or if you're trading it on the TSXV, the ticker symbol is GTEC. Now, they've come out with some huge news today, and they are making an absolutely beautiful chart pattern, so I want to get over that news, and then I want to get into their chart, and then after that, as always, I have some other nice-looking charts I want to show you as well. Now, if you're new to my channel, I like to trade actively and long-term invest as well. I put out trading and investing ideas almost every single day, so if that's something that interests you, please consider subscribing. I also have a Patreon group, so if you want to see what we are looking at and trading in real time, that link is in the description. Now, if you don't know who GTEC Cannabis is, they market and distribute handcrafted, high-quality cannabis products. The company has 3 fully licensed and operational facilities and is currently distributing cannabis through medical and recreational sales channels. GTEC's premium quality recreational cannabis brands include Black Market, Tenzo, Cognizant, and Tree Hugger, which are crafted from unique cultivators and sold in British Columbia, Ontario, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Yukon. The company's medical cannabis brand, Green Tech, is distributed nationwide to qualified patients through its Green Tech medical website and various licensed partners. Alright, so let's get into this recent news. This article says, GTEC Holdings, a multi-licensed producer of handcrafted high-quality cannabis, is pleased to announce it has repaid its 2 senior secured promissory notes with NFS Leasing Canada in full. The notes, which carried an aggregate principal balance of approximately $6 million, were fully repaid on April 9th, 2021. The complete elimination of the company's debt, including the repayment of the Invictus promissory, will deliver over $1 million in interest savings over the next 12 months. The company is now free of all debt liabilities, with all security interests removed and the company's assets fully unencumbered. Accordingly, the company now has a strong working capital position and balance sheet with a current cash balance of approximately $19 million. The company said they would like to reiterate its dedication to operate in a fiscally disciplined manner while building long-term shareholder value. The company will continue evaluating opportunities to reduce operational expenses while striving to increase its revenue and gross margins. Norton Singhaven, the founder and CEO, said, "We would like to thank the team at NFS for supporting our vision as we navigated through a key phase of the growth of our emerging business. We are extremely pleased to become one of the few debt-free companies within this sector, as we continue on our mission to become a leading producer of high-quality cannabis products in North America and globally." Now, one of the things I really like about GTEC is their founder, Norton Singhaven. I've done some reading on him and watched many of his interviews, and he appears to be very focused and driven and seems to be making all the right business moves so far. Alright folks, so let's jump into my TC2000 charting software and get a look at the current price action. But as a reminder, I am not a financial advisor, so please do all of your own research before investing in any stocks that I talk about on my channel. And actually, this stock came to my awareness by watching one of Jeremy's videos on financial education. I also saw a video that Meet Kevin did on his. Now, I didn't just jump in and buy because they put it on their channel. I looked into it. I'd done enough research on my own to feel comfortable putting in my own money. It took a while. That was several weeks ago when I first saw that video that I think Jeremy put out first, but I've been watching interviews and reading various things on the internet as well. But I jumped in with a couple thousand shares, and I'm going to look to buy more if we do get some weakness. But first, let's get into this chart. As we can see, this stock had a massive move up from right around 10 cents all the way up to, it looks like about 86 cents. And since then, it has pulled back roughly 30% from that high, and that sounds like a pretty big pullback, but when you see how much it actually went up, it's actually just a beautiful looking bullish flag, bullish triangle consolidation formation. These are usually continuation patterns. Usually when you see this pattern, you get a continuation of the move that came into it, and on this chart, that move was up, so I'm expecting a move up as well. Now, we can see that it's getting pretty low, pretty close to this support level. Let's go to the hourly chart so we can see it just a little bit better. If I back the chart out, we can easily draw this triangle consolidation, this bullish flag, whatever you want to call it. They all look relatively the same. I mean, it's kind of, chart patterns are kind of subjective, so Anyway, it's getting close to this support level right around, let's call it 60 cents. And if it does end up breaking, that is not going to be the end of the world. A lot of times these chart patterns, they'll break down first and then you'll get a snap back real fast. So if this thing breaks down and hits that 50-period simple moving average on the daily chart, I'm definitely going to add some more. I'd like to have around 5,000 shares. I'm not going to go too deep on this one because after all, it is a really low price stock, and these can be very speculative, so I'd be comfortable with about 5,000 shares or so. But if we back out the chart a little bit, we can see it's just an absolutely beautiful bullish flag formation. You know, there isn't much selling coming into it. And if we draw a trend line on the volume, you can see the volume is drying up. And that's exactly what you want to see on a pullback. You don't want to see big volume coming in on the sells. If you get light volume on a pullback, that tells you that a lot of people are still holding their stock. Now, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some kind of big dip, some kind of a shakeout type of pattern. Usually, a lot of people tend to be looking at these support levels, and especially if people bought high and they're not don't have a large conviction on the stock. When stocks do end up breaking these support levels, you know, they'll end up selling out of their shares, and you know, big players in the market, they know that. So a lot of times they'll send the shares down just to shake people out of their shares so they can scoop them up and hold on to them for the long term. But that is not going to happen with me. I'm going to hold on to this one for quite a while. And hopefully we do get that weakness, because I will definitely add more. Let me go back to the daily chart real quick. And that 50-period simple moving average is hanging out right around 55 cents. So that's like, you know, a 10% move down. I actually expect it to break that if it does. Definitely if it has a fast move down, but I wouldn't be a bit surprised if it does break that. But I'll be adding if it does, because I think this company does have some pretty decent long-term potential. And of course, this sector has so much growth ahead of it. It never hurts to hold on to some of these stocks for the long term, unless they start completely deteriorating. If you're in stocks that are in growing sectors that are growing fast, it behooves you to hold on to them for as long as you can. I mean, unless the company just starts falling apart. And everything I've seen about this CEO makes me think that he's got the company on the right track. So definitely going to hold on to this one for a couple years and add on weakness. But that's what I want to show you on GGTTF. Now let's get into some of those other nice looking chart patterns. All right, well, I'm going to stick with the marijuana theme. And the first one I want to show you is Cronos Group, ticker symbol CRON. Now, this one I'll only be looking to trade because actually all of the stocks in this sector, or at least most of them, are looking super good because they are all pulling back. Now, CRON is pulling back a little bit harder. It's the trend is starting to accelerate to the downside. So I think this should get a pretty decent bounce off this 200-period simple moving average. This yellow line on the chart, it's going to be right around $7.80. I'm probably going to look to buy some of that if it does hit that line, especially if it hits it quickly. We should get a nice bounce up because a lot of these stocks in this MJ sector are starting to get pretty oversold. So I think CRON is definitely ready for a bounce. Next one I want to show you is APHA. And if we look at APHA, the trend is definitely starting to accelerate to the downside. I would like to be a buyer either at this support level right around $12 or all the way down to this 200-period simple moving average. I'm kind of debating which one I want to wait for. I think we could get a decent bounce right around $12, and if it does end up screaming all the way down to the 200-period simple moving average around $9.50 or so, that could have a real nice bounce. So a lot of these stocks are starting to get very attractive, not only for investing but for trading. These first two I just showed you are the ones I would probably just be trading. Next one I want to show you is CGC. You look at CGC, you can see this one is starting to scream into that 200-period simple moving average. If this one gets down to around 25, I definitely want to try to play the bounce on CGC because this one is definitely due for a bounce. This one's also only going to be a trade as well for me. Next one I want to show you is OGI. This one is also only going to be a trade if it does end up coming down to this level. You got support from that move up in January and February, and then you got the 200 period simple moving average just below it right there. So I think if it could get down to the $2 range, that could offer some pretty nice bounce support for OGI. So I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on OGI for a possible trade. These next four that I'm going to get into are ones I'm consider actually buying for the long term because they look like they have the strongest fundamentals out of all of them, and this is just my opinion. Definitely look into them for yourself. But CURLF definitely looks super good, and actually you can see it's making the same type of formation that GGTTF is making, and this one is pulling back on light volume. You can see the trend really hasn't accelerated too much to the downside. I'm guessing because they have stronger fundamentals than most of the other ones out there. But if this one does roll over, which it certainly could, I think I want to be a long-term buyer of this one. If it gets down to this 200 period simple moving average, I'd love to take a nibble and start a position on CURLF at this level, right around $11.15 if it manages to get down there. I think this would be a great place to start my position, and if it goes lower, I would love to add on some weakness, but CURLF is one of the better companies in this sector. The next one I want to show you is CCHWF. This one is Columbia Care Incorporated, and this one is also not pulling back very hard. This one has some pretty decent fundamentals compared to most of the stocks in this sector. And as you can see, the ones that have the better fundamentals are holding up better than some of the ones that don't. So CCHWF, in my opinion, could be a fantastic pickup right around $5. You got this support over here from the previous move up, and then you got the 200 period simple moving average also in that area between $4.80 and $5. So this one gets down to the $5 range. I'm going to strongly consider buying some of this for the long term. I'm going to take a closer look at all of them before I decide to buy. But these are ones I'm definitely leaning towards for taking a long-term position because I want to have some more exposure to this space. I don't feel like I have enough exposure to this space just yet. But next one I want to show you is GTBIF. Green Thumb Industries is looking pretty good. It's actually having a big update today. It's up, well, not a huge update, but it is actually up. It's bucking the trend of some of the other ones. And I would love to be a buyer of this stock if it got down to the 200 period simple moving average as well. We got some support from late last year, right around November or so. And then the 200 period simple moving average is sitting right around 2150 or so. So this would still be a pretty decent move down if Green Thumb Industries could get down there. So I think that would represent a pretty good buying opportunity. And the last one I want to show you, last but certainly not least, is CRLBF. This is Cresco Labs, and you can see this one is also one of the stronger fundamental stocks in this sector, and it is also having a very light pullback as well. This one I'd love to get this one down here at the 200 period simple moving average, but that is quite a ways, and plus there's a lot of support on the chart right here as well, sitting right about 1050 or so. But you never know. If we get a big, fast down move in the market, it's going to send down almost all of the stocks. So I'll definitely be waiting for these if they get down here towards support. And those first four that I showed you are definitely looking good for a swing trade bounce. The fact that all of these stocks are starting to pull back, I'm going to look to buy the strongest fundamentally sound ones for the long term, and the others I'm probably just going to try to play like a swing trade, make a few bucks on them in the short term. But I just wanted to show you all these stocks because all of them are starting to look pretty good. Alright guys, well that's all I have for this video, so I'm going to end it right there. But if you have any questions about any of these stocks, or if you have any other stocks you want me to take a look at, please leave them down there in the comment section. I will get to them as soon as I can. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching my video all the way to the end, guys, and until next time, take care.